Welcome to Forgotten Women from Florida's History. In this episode, we discuss the life and career of Dr. Mabel Elliott. Dr. Elliott was born in London, England in 1881. When she was 2, her parents, along with her 7 siblings, headed to Florida. They settled at San Mateo near Palatka and grew oranges. The family moved on to St. Augustine in 1885, where her father, Joseph Elliott, ran a restaurant. In 1893, the family moved down Florida's east coast to a new area just emerging called Palm Beach. Joseph Elliott was chair of the committee that voted for the town of West Palm Beach to be incorporated on November 5, 1894. All of the Elliott daughters were well educated. Dr. Elliott's sisters taught school in Palm Beach and in St. Augustine. In 1900, Dr. Elliott and her older sister, Grace Pepot, headed off to Chicago to attend medical school at Rush Medical College. The sisters graduated together in the class of 1904, in only the second class at Rush that allowed women medical students. Following her internship, Dr. Elliott operated a private practice in Benton Harbor, Michigan. But the world was in peril as war gripped Europe and America in 1917. Dr. Elliott volunteered with the Red Cross to serve in France, but opportunities were limited for women doctors in combat. Following the end of the war in 1918, the American Women's Hospital Organization selected Dr. Elliott to run a refugee hospital in Maraş, Turkey. In Maraş, Dr. Elliott took over a hospital and cared for Armenian women and children who lived in Turkey as Christian minorities. The Armenian genocide was underway. Fighting between Turks and Armenians continued even though the war was technically over. The British and French forces assisting in the fight retreated, leaving Dr. Elliott to evacuate the hospital or be massacred by the Turks. She led the group of 5,000 refugees and hospital staff across the Taurus Mountains to safety, but many died from the cold. She herself suffered frostbite on the 75-mile trek. Once in the Turkish city of Izmit, she opened and operated another hospital for refugees and orphans. Here she is seen with children being treated for trachoma. This eye disease, if left untreated, can result in blindness. Dr. Elliott sent telegrams to the United States trying to depict the deplorable conditions she faced trying to save as many women and children as she could. Dr. Elliott's bravery and heroics did not go unnoticed. In 1922, the Greek and French governments awarded her several medals, including the Greek War Cross. She was only one of 2 women given this accolade. In 1923, she returned to her home in West Palm Beach, Florida, to recuperate with her family and write a memoir of her experiences in Turkey and Greece. That book, Beginning Again at Ararat, became an international bestseller. Dr. Elliott returned to private practice, but her interest in helping women and children brought her to another assignment overseas. In 1925, she accepted a position at St. Luke's International Hospital in Tokyo, Japan. Among industrialized nations at that time, Japan had among the highest infant mortality rates. She was the first American woman doctor to be licensed by the Japanese government. Dr. Elliott became head of pediatrics at the hospital and provided many life-saving innovations, such as making the diphtheria vaccine mandatory and forming a visiting nurses association to help educate expectant mothers. As war clouds gathered in the Pacific, Dr. Elliott was forced to leave Tokyo. She was now 60 years old and returned to her family in West Palm Beach, where she limited her practice of medicine to obstetrics and serving as the physician in residence at Penney Farms near Jacksonville during the summer months in the 1950s. Dr. Elliott was the last of the 14 Elliott children to pass away at age 86 in 1968. As she looked back on her long career, she was most proud of her efforts in saving countless women and children in Turkey. Dr. Elliott's story serves as an inspiration to those who aspire to a life of service, not just to country, but to the world. She is among Florida's most important women physicians. Thank you for watching this episode of Forgotten Women from Florida's History.